I got to ask you about this. Speaking with Hugh, and I know we often have a lot of fun and we joke around and we enjoy our usual hijinks, my friend. But I have to ask you about something serious because it's come to a head in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Something called race norming,
Yeah.
and tied into concussions and CTE, and how a representative from the league said he needed to do a better job. All that. As a former player, as a guy that was in the league for a long time, as a guy who played for a couple of teams, when you hear this, first off, do you have any experience with it? And then second, like, how are you, just as a former player, how are you doing?
I think I'm fine. But to your point, Mark, I have had some experience with it. I had to go. I did the CTE concussion test and everything. As a matter of fact, I had to take my wife with me. Simona came with me at the time because they don't really want to talk to you because they want to talk to somebody close to you because that person can better tell them about who you are as a person. And I remember sitting in there and they was asking her specific questions. And when she answered them, I kind of just looked because I never knew that's how I was perceived.
The doctor was asking questions?
Well, he was asking questions to her.
To Simona, okay.
He was asking Simona questions. And I never knew that's how it was perceived. She was like, so is he kind of standoff? She said, yeah, he has moments where he's a little moody and he can, be off to himself. And I'm like, and one time they asked me, they were like, have you ever had any times where you blacked out? And I was like, no. And she's like, yes, you did. Remember that one time you blacked out and you did it? And I was like, oh. Like, I was surprised because I had forgot. She didn't forget because, she lived it. So it was one of those things where to hear somebody describe you as a person and how you are and you think you're fine, it was a little disturbing.
You had no memory of it.
Well, it was just like, it was okay. It was certain things that you don't recall that she recalls. Like, me being a little standoffish or being a little bit of a loner. To me, that's just me being me. But that could be perceived as being antisocial or standoffish kind of attitude to have. And then to come to find out later that there's a lot of guys that play in the NFL that are kind of skew the same way. They don't mind being by themselves. They're kind of like a little bit of a loner, if you will. So it was kind of surprising to hear that about when she said it. And then, just taking the test and everything, some of the cognitive tests you took, it was something that it was a little different. It was a little different.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like race norming has been a part of that?
You know what? It's funny because when I went into the office and I talked to the guy, even before I did the test, he asked me certain questions and he said, "Oh, you're fine." And I was like, "Wait a minute." And I'm thinking to myself, "Fine? I haven't even taken the test yet." And then come to find out that I completely failed the test. And I'm like, "Come on, man." I don't know about, I don't think that I'm, messed up as other guys, but knowing what we know about concussions and CTE and what has been found and previous guys who died and given their body to science, there has to be something there. And it just kind of makes you wonder why the NFL is making it so hard for some of these guys who are in way worse conditions than I am to get the help that they need. And it really makes you wonder what is really going on. Because they've had this fund put aside for at least I would say about 10 years now, something like that. It's been a while. And I don't recall any guys, not too many guys have benefited from this at all. And they've made it real hard for guys to just get, the basics that they need. Nobody's trying. I think they're looking at it like, guys are trying to get a second money grab or something like that. I don't look at it like that, Mark. I look at it like I don't want to be a burden to my children. I don't want to be a financial burden to my kids when if it just say my mental faculties go and now I'm financially strapping my kids and they need to figure out, okay, what we're going to do with that, because his 401k or his pension ran out and now we don't have this, that, and the third. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it. It's not so much about me and how I want to live. It's about just in case something happens to me so my kids don't have to bear that financial burden.
Gotcha. Well, man, God bless you, brother. You seem great with me. I'll say that, my friend.
No, but you know what, Mark? That's the scary thing about it.
Right.
You think about all the guys that have passed and the people that were close to them and the guys that have taken their own lives. Think about the people that were close to them and they didn't see it coming. You know what I mean? And you just never know. You just never know what anybody's going through. Dorsey Levens, me and him talk all the time. You know, Dorsey's down here. And Dorsey was telling me, you know, we were just casual conversation. He said, you'd be surprised at how many guys that have played in the NFL that have contemplated suicide. He said, but they don't talk about it because it's a sensitive, it's like, it doesn't go with the masculine aspect of being a football player. You know, it's like you're being weak or something, talking about your mental health or your personal feelings. So then we don't talk about it. But it's a real thing, man. And we see guys do it all the time. And we see guys that are dealing with stuff all the time. So it's a little surprising knowing that the game that we played for so long and that we gave to for so many years really is real hesitant to give back to us a little bit.
Right. Hey, Brian Dawkins does a lot for mental health right now for that same reason.
Oh, yeah, man. Think about it like this, man. This pandemic, like, it's a blessing and a curse in the sense that since we've been in it, it has brought mental health awareness to the forefront. You look at, what was her name? Coco Gauff. The young, no. Naomi,
Osaka.
Oh, I'm talking about the wrong one. My bad. But Naomi Osaka.
Yeah.
And how she talked about her mental health. Man, think about that, Mark. Athletes back in the day would never talk about something that serious.
No.
You know, and then you think about some of the athletes that say, oh, well, you know, you're an athlete, you're a professional athlete, you make a ton of money, you should be able to take all the pressure. Hell, money ain't got nothing to do with mental health. I mean, hell, if you having issues, you got issues. You need help. You know, and so I mean, it's the time is now, and people are talking about it. So, you know, the NFL, bottom line is the NFL needs to do better. They just need to do better.